SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Engineering, Medical and Health Sciences, Management, Science and Humanities, Law, Agriculture Sciences. Admissions open.
Hello. Hello, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning everyone.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Welcome everyone for the second day of the NATA online classes. I hope all are energized and waiting for another day of awesome learning. I would like to call upon our dear Dean to give us a motivation and pump us for this day. Welcome, Dean, sir.
Very good morning, everybody. My dear students, organizers, and other friends here. Thank you very much, and welcome back for the second day of the session. And so nice of you to have here. And yesterday you all rocked, and it was surprising for me to see almost. I think it would have crossed in thousands. That's the interest and that's the energy which we actually expected, and you all have proved it. That's something very nice and very good. And before we get into the second of the session, I would like to take 1 or 2 minutes of your time just to tell you how we would like to take up the whole journey of 5 years, which we are going to travel together. The first semester, on the first year, we have the basic designs and the basic components of architecture. The second year, you will have the rural design, where you talk about the rural studies and you go to the villages and study and document and present things. And the third year, you do the architecture design, where you talk about the star hotel and shopping complex, supermarkets, and things like that. The fourth year, you get into the internship and training, where you, along with the specializations, whatever you learn, and you will get into the officers and get that basic exposures. The first 3 years, your basic degree, and the fourth year, you will get into the officers and get trained under the senior architect. And the fifth year, again, you will have some specializations, and you put all these 4.5 years put together and do a thesis. That is the process of journey. I'm sure this 5 years will go just like that, because that's it's something like you fall in love, and you enjoy every minute. You keep traveling. For the case study, you travel. For site study, you travel. For tour, you travel. For all-India tour, you travel. For international tour, you travel. You have a lot of travel, because education is not within the classrooms and studios. That is only a place for consolidations. And this architect education is to travel mostly and meet more people, and you get connected very well. So that's the whole idea behind. And I'm sure the whole process of 5 years, you'll have a very comfortable smile and happiness throughout. So enjoy the session that way. Apart from that, we also have a lot of memorandum of understanding. We call it MOU with different universities across the world. Almost over 150 countries, we have signed an MOU internationally, where you may also go and do your undergraduation, probably 1 semester or 2 semester in National University of Singapore or US or UK or anywhere. So the SRM University has given that opportunity for any of the students, and of course, not only in architecture, but also in BDES and BE or whatever courses do we have, wherever we have signed an MOU with the international universities. Not only with the international universities, we also have a lot of MOUs with the national universities or local regional universities. So apart from these kind of exchange program, we also have vertical studios, and you can work with your seniors and juniors in terms of vertical studios. And probably even you can go to the SEPT or SPA Delhi or SAP Chennai. You stay there for 1 week, 10 days time, and work. And you can bring them here, and they will, even in SRM, they will work for 1 week, 10 days here, and you collectively prepare a report and submit it, and it will be screened, and it should be documented well. It will be published. It could be patent, and whatever you want, you can do. There's a lot more way to learn, and it's a lot of celebrations and joy of happiness to be in SRM, and especially to be in this course. Thank you very much for this day. All the best. Let's enjoy the session with Professor Raja and other guests. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dean, sir, for the wonderful promise of celebration. In fact, it is always that, and not only during studentship, even afterwards, when we move into the field, it is really awesome. And this feeling continues. Thank you so much, sir. Now I call upon Professor Raja to start his presentation for today.
Thank you. Good morning. Another beautiful day for interaction with the beautiful people, very creative and very enthusiastic people. I'm very happy and to see another day with you, interact with you. Let me share the screen. So good morning, everyone. We know this online crash course which we are doing. This is like second day of our online crash course. Let's celebrate life and let's celebrate architecture with our program. Today, day 2, we are actually going to talk about a very important lesson, which is solids and shadows. Because why this is very important? Yeah, because it is the one which actually makes us an architect and visualizes into a better one. The creativity improves with solids and shadows because they are the one which gives us an idea about how we actually enhance the quality of our spaces. So first we'll actually see how a basic form. Yesterday we actually talked about elements, we talked about basic shapes. Now how the basic shapes are actually getting converted into solids, then how a light influences the entire process and actually gives you a great amount of understanding towards the geometrical forms. Yeah, if you see a tree which is there with the trunk and leaves and branches, all are actually solids. It is a geometrical form. The geometrical form enhanced by the light gives you a great amount of idea towards that entire fabric. It actually enhances the entire fabric in a beautiful way. Let us see first, because we'll actually study basics of solids, because it's very, very important for you to understand this, because lots of NATA questions from the analytical one also, aptitude one also, and from the drawing test also, they talk about these shapes to solids. Because if you don't understand the shapes to the solids, then you can only become an artist. You cannot become an architect. A geometrical person needs to understand how the shape is actually derived. The solids are derived from the shapes. So we know that there is a 2D square. A shape is an outline of either planar surface of any volume. Second is actually a 3D cube. A square can actually make a cube, first part, because the cube has all equal volume, all equal sides, every dimension is actually intact. When the dimension differs, say for an example, there is a magic happening, when the dimensions are actually intact in geometrical form, it creates a beautiful symmetrical one. And then we actually go to a rectangle where one of the dimension is changing, it is creating a magic. That is what is the idea of the solids also. Solids gives you a pleasure of actually changing. Thus, it makes us actually, this makes us a big creator altogether. A square forming into cube and the cuboid. Then the shapes to the solids, a cylinder, when we actually see a circle, we just see a circle. It can become a pizza, it can become a ball. How well it can actually become a cylinder. See, these are the things which actually happens with a small circle which we have. It can become a cone ice cream, like you turn it, it can become a cone ice cream. It can be in your hands. But it can be actually a cake roll with you. No, it can be a ball with your hand. See, the square, the circle which you saw in the 2 dimension is changing magically it's changing because of the formation of a solid. The cylinder is actually happened, a circle into a sphere happens, a circle into a prism cone happens. Then we actually see a shape of solid, a triangle forming a pyramid and prisms. What a beautiful thing, a triangle is a beautiful geometry. I told you yesterday about two important basic shapes. Those are the circle and the square, which actually forms a basic shape in the entire world. But the triangle is a unique one, which gives a beauty in itself. If you see a prism or if you see a pyramid is a stable form, very difficult to make. And a prism, you see diamonds and all that. The prism is a beautiful one, which retracts the light and gives us a beautiful formation. The beautiful solid, the triangle is a beautiful shape, which gives beautiful solids, which actually enhance our creativity. You all must actually, keep this in your mind, keep on drawing whenever you actually find time. Keep on drawing this, try to evolve how actually a dimension increases. Say a dimension increases from one dimension to the one dimension, the same kind of a dimension, then it kinds of forms a cube. When it actually increases itself, it actually gets onto a cuboid. Then it actually, when it's a pyramid which is there, it extends, it actually forms another kind of a beautiful solid. A prism actually extends and gives us a beautiful solid altogether. This is all combinations which you have to work in your geometry also, in NATA questions also. Specifically, these things are asked. Yesterday, Dr. Satish was talking about how do you calculate the triangles, how you calculate the triangles and how you calculate those dimensions if you understand the shapes very well. Yes, Sachin. Sachin, yes. Can the moderator mute Sachin? He raised his hand. Yes, Sachin, you can actually give a chat message also. Or we can keep this, you can keep Sachin. Sachin, you keep this question with you, and you ask me when, we end the program, I mean, in the question and answer series. So a triangle forming a pyramids and prisms. All of you can hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. We can hear you very clearly.
Yes, yes. Somebody has raised a question. So,
yes.
Okay. Is there any question which is there with him? He raised his hand. Okay, a triangle forming a pyramid and a prism. Okay. Next is just excuse me, apologize. I think it's not moving one minute. Excuse me for a minute, actually. This slide is not moving. Ma'am?
Okay, like to
1 second. Yeah, 1 second, ma'am. I just need a break. I think slide is not moving. I'll just stop the share for a minute and I'll redo it again.
yes.
Just a second. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're clear, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Just 1 second, ma'am. There is some technical problem with the window. I'll just come back.
No issue, sir. Hello. Hello. So we shall hold on. I'm sure you have all been introduced to shapes, but shapes are the basic components of all the buildings, and we need to understand this. You will notice as you go and see through many of your buildings how much it implies in our lives. I would like you to remember, bring to mind any domical building like Orville, like a semi-hemispherical building like the Baha'i temple. When you go into such spaces like a dome or a hemisphere, the feeling and the emotions that you go through is very phenomenal. What happens with a circle is it brings the attention to the center of the circle. So that is how, as you go through, as you first you will learn what a shape is and what are the possibilities of three-dimensional forms that can happen with that particular basic shape. And then you will understand how it is when you feel when you are inside that space, which will help you understand architecture. And then when you go into a square as if you look at Buddhist architecture, even from ancient times, the square always represents the earth. This is, if you look at the Vedic books, if you look at the Buddhist lessons, you will see that. Why? Because the square seems to be a very stable, symmetrical, even formation. And it is on that basis, even the Egyptians had built up their pyramid. See, one of the biggest buildings which have stayed for so many years across centuries. It was because of the stability of that particular form in which they were able to achieve this. So, architecture is all about learning to play with these forms. First, we will understand the effect and the possibility with each of these shapes. You could, even after this session, do your research on that as to how a circle makes you feel. One of the important aspects of a circle, of being within a dome or a hemispherical space, would be is it will get your attention to the center of the space.
Ma'am, we can have Sarva Radha sir. He is ready to speak now.
Yes.
Invite Sarva Radha sir to have words on SRM.
Okay. Sarvana Raja sir, can I ask our professor, who is Professor Sarvana Raja? He is very much into the film and set design. He is interested in directing movies. A stronghold with visual communication. His strength is presentation techniques, media, and he's worked with very famous architects and directors. I call upon Sarvana Raja sir to say a few words to the aspirants. Sarvana Raja sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Able to hear me, right?
Yes.
Good morning, students. First of all, I congratulate you and I get acknowledged by the work yesterday you guys did. I started to remember my 12th standard days. So I joined my architecture in NAT. I did my PhD, and then I did my PhD in MDES, Master of Design Visual Communication from IIT Bombay. Then currently I'm doing my PhD. And in between, I have traveled a lot of streets. Yesterday, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, somebody was asking about what are the job opportunities of for an architect. Actually, you will be creating the job whatever you like. Like I do architecture, and I'm having an advertising and designing company. So I design, short films. I shoot short films, posters, movie posters, and I worked as assistant director with for 3 movies. I write poems, and then I try to 1 minute I'll switch over to some other mic so that we can expand here. Okay, I think now I think it's clear. Okay. So I worked as assistant director with directors as assistant director, and then I was working as a cameraman with a cameraman, and currently last 1 year before I was working in the art direction. So the switch over between these three, the confidence, the skill, I'm able to get it only from the base which I got from architecture, because it gave me the exposure to all kind of fields like photography, painting, sculptures, writing, conceptual, something derived, imagination, creative. Everything has come from that architecture, and that's the base which helps me in build up the other things of layers. So I do even professional photography. So it's actually like a dancing between or you're choreographing all the things. Until I am passionate about my field and I do that as my business. So I do my passion and I'm making that as my job. So and at the same time you get a satisfaction. So this I'm really thankful to one of my students, which like after passing class, and just before 1 day before he told me that there is an architecture course in NAT. So that day changed my life. I am very much like thankful or safe that I went into architecture. So I'll show you some of the things that he was talking about, some solids and voids, right? So. So I'm going to show you some of the work which I did it in 12th, like a 10th to 12th. Actually, my mom will scold me for doing all those things, like because I steal the chalkpiece from the schools and then I do it. So she complains to the school. But see that. So this is one of the biggest times, and this is another one. This is actually created from a single chalkpiece without connecting it or without putting the paste on it. Just you have to remove the unnecessary things and you'll be getting it. I'll show you the other one. This is a full chalk piece, and you can see another smaller one. So if you're on a laptop, you will be able to see the scale of it. This is also another thing. This is a bell pen, and you can see the smaller scale of it. It is created from a single chalk piece, and I don't know about this is from a very single block. So you can see that. So these all
Saravanan Raja, sir.
Which is behind
excuse me, sir. Sir, your voice is a bit disturbed, sir. Can you place your mic near to your? Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Now it's clear, sir. Now it's clear, sir.
Can you hear me, Kavita ma'am?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. Sir.
Keep on.
I'll just finish it off. So this is actually, I'm not an artist. You have to keep it in mind. I've not had any professional training. Only after entering into architecture, I was introduced into the art, introduced into the three-dimensional way of sculpturing and photography, visualizing, and that helped you it goes into the buildings. But it's not just buildings. It is, you will be a person, you are a creator. You will become a creator. And you don't need to just stick to buildings. You'll be designing things for souls, like humans. So that is I feel it lucky to be in architecture, whether it's in a college or not. The course itself, it opens up your mind. So and you will be the boss. Like I think it is a bus stand kind of thing, and you can catch any bus you want to go. So that is how I feel it like, and that's the freedom we get it from architecture. So any doubt or something like that, you can ask it in the last thing. I think our tutor has come, and I would love to join again if you guys are interested. So just I gave you the preliminaries of like what you get from architecture. So that's it. Let's join with the tutor. We'll
yes, Saravanan Raja sir, you're so creative. We have seen your creative works, all around every time. and he's a wonderful human being with us with lots of passion. You know, I have seen him work, and we will actually hear about him about SRM after this tutorial is over. Sorry about this. The file was a little big, so I could not actually know. So we'll students will go back to our triangle I was talking about. A triangle is one which actually gives you a complicated geometrical forms and creates wonderful, you know, geometrical solids. No, we'll actually go for a small poll now. We'll be asking the question number 1. All the objects are replica of geometrical solid forms. Yes or no?
Aspirants, the polls are on.
Yes. You said yes? Okay, but we replicate the nature to geometrical solid forms. That's the truth, right? Like we replicate the geometric, the nature, all objects are, yes, they are replica of geometrical solid forms, but we replicate because we mimic the we mimic the nature, and we actually create these geometrical solid forms. We'll keep going to the next slide. Oh, there are the examples of our replications of from the solids which we have done. You can see the pyramid as stable form. A library in China with a spear. Architect I.M. Pace, the beautiful Leo pyramid. Then the cubism in architecture, they call it cubism in architecture, using cubes. Then we have the cylinder, but it's leaned. And we have the Granium Museum by the FL Wright one. So it's all those are examples of solids converting into a beautiful, you know, buildings. You know, everything is replicated by the people. See, we see a cylinder in a tree. We actually see lots of triangles and circles everywhere. It is the observation which you have to make. The observations make you a very good people towards architecture. Yeah, that will make you a good, that will actually give you a good aptitude to write your NATA examination. A solid light formation actually happens. Say for an example, if there is no light, then we cannot see anything. A light source actually enhances the quality of the geometry. It actually enhances the quality of the geometry. All of you try to actually draw this. This is the light source, where the light source is coming. When the light source is coming from one side, NATA actually asked this question so many times. When the light source comes from one side and falls into the solids, then it actually gets highlighted at one point. See, the top surface which is there is highlighted. Yesterday someone was asking about how a light should be actually done, how a shading should be done. To understand the shading, you must really understand how the light is actually thrown into the solid. So this slide is having everything for you. A light source is actually given, what is highlighted. The top surface is highlighted here. You can see the top surface is highlighted here. So that is brightened. The color which is actually getting mixed with the light source, the hue or, you know, the shade, whatever actually happens, it actually falls into this highlighted portion. Second, this is a dim light here in that side. Then we have a mid-tone here. The sides which are there, this side will actually have a mid-tone. There will be a core shadow will actually happen because of the light source which is actually falling there. There will be a core shadow happening. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 surfaces are going to be there. six surfaces, because we'll be actually studying about the surface development later. In the surfaces, every surface will actually reflect in a different way altogether. நீங்க எல்லாரும் பார்த்திருப்பீங்க, நம்ம வீட்ல நம்ம face இருக்கு. Actually the face is actually reflecting the light. The light is actually reflecting the face. It is reflecting every object in our house. That is the reason why we are able to actually see ourselves in different tones. So first of all, one is one highlight, dim light there, dim light there. There's a mid-tone here. A core shadow will happen. There is a cast shadow will happen. Now there is a shadow which is cast. This is actually going to be a darker one. Then it is going to be a darker one. Then again a mid-tone will be actually done here. There will be a little mid-tone, then down here it will be highlighted. So for every object you practice this, then you will be able to actually have the shadow. What you have to do it in your house, you all have your mobile phones. Take any object which is of cube, which is of sphere, anything which you see in your house. Now put your light in an angle, different angles you put it, and see how the shadow is cast. So you by seeing that shadow which is cast, you'll be able to understand how actually a shadow can be actually can be drawn. The composition of a solid also happens with the light. There are different compositions which actually they ask. If you actually add, subtract, or intersect, then there are other formations happens with the solid. That is called as composition of solids. Tomorrow I'll be talking about this composition of solid. I'll be talking about how an addition can happen. It's very simple. You actually buy a birthday cake and you cut a part of it, then there is a subtraction happen. You are actually very dear to someone. He wants to actually buy you a big cake, then a big cake will be there, a smaller cake will be on top. We'll be actually talking about those additions. The composition of solids starts happening. The composition of solids when starts happening, this interact, the light also intersect through that, then it will actually form or cast different shadows. You have to practice shadows and you have to see the shadows everywhere and find out how the shadows are actually done. Understanding a solid geometry for a shadowing, like whenever you actually take the faces, try to understand in which side the light is actually thrown, as I have already told you. Then try to focus that point, first brighten that point, then try to actually now subdue every part, then you darken one part of it and cast a shadow. Now, there is a small technique for shading. You try to actually put up an axis. Where is the light source? Try to put the light source in an axis and try to take the angle of that light source. Take the exact angle of the light source. Try to follow that exact angle of the light source. Then you will get the entire system absolutely correct. So try to draw a dotted line from the light source to the casting shadow, then you will get this angle absolutely correct and you will be able to actually cast shadows very beautifully. Casting shadow is a very, 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 very simple thing. Just simple, where is the light coming from? One plate is going to be, brighter, and one place you are going to get a darker tone. Now mix from a brighter tone to a darker tone, then you will get the entire shadow absolutely great. There is nothing, no secret. This is the technique for shading. Day-to-day life solid geometry. So what we have actually seen, we have asked our NATA students to actually give us some day-to-day life solids and geometry. Then they found all these things: a cube, cone, sphere, pyramid, cuboid, cylinder, and everything. You also actually start looking for all those things and try to actually tell us what is those geometrical forms which are available. Second question: light enhances the quality of light. Yes or no? Polling. Can we go for a polling, please?
The poll is on, students. The poll is on.
Poll is on. Kindly, vote for the polling. Your vote matters. So I would like to know from you, all of you. I request everyone to poll. Thank you. Most of you agree. Yes, that is the truth of our idea. So light enhances the quality of this thing. So first of all, what is a light? There are two lights which are there. One is a natural light. Another one is actually the light, artificial light, which we put up. What is a natural light which we get? We get it from the sun. You know, all of we know very well actually. Sun is in an angle of 23.5 degrees, and it revolves around the earth is actually at the angle of 23.5 degree and revolves around the sun. When actually sun faces the side of the earth, then we will get what? The light we will get, and the other side will be darkened. That is what we actually calculate our 24 hours. That is 12 hours we'll get the brightness, another 12 hours will not get brightness. NATA, they are very clear about it, because in architecture, it is very important to understand the sun path. You have to know what is the light, what is the basic light which you are getting, what is the natural source of light, how the light is actually going. Let us see actually how the sun is revolving. Sun path in the summer is going to be little vertical. Sun is actually taking the angle in the southern hemisphere. It is taking an angle in southern hemisphere. If you can see, if we take a place at 6 o'clock in the morning in the east, all of you know, sun actually rises from the east and it sets in the west. So we actually have a east sun at 6 o'clock. Then it comes to the center at around what time? Maybe at around 12 o'clock. Then you actually travels back. Then it comes to the western direction at around 6 o'clock. So at around 12 hours, it is going to travel in a path. In summer, it will be actually traveling in path. Why Raja sir is saying all these things? Because NATA is very careful about it. I will put you a question now. Second one is the sun path in the spring and the falls. Hear it very clearly. The sun path in the winter, they'll be telling Delhi, they'll be telling Chennai, they'll be telling about the day, they'll be telling about the month. So be careful. It will be actually taking the southern hemisphere. It will be actually starting from the east and the west. There will not be actually, there will be shadows cast from southwest in a very beautiful way. Your sun revolves around an axis taking the southern hemisphere to create an angular shadow. So you must know that there's an angular shadow which is created by the sun. If it is actually in the, say for an example, if NATA says in a winter, you actually draw this at around 8 o'clock, then you will be able to draw this. You actually look onto it. If you have any doubts about that, you can actually give me a ping and I'll explain you this. That is the source of light for sun. So this is the question which is asked in the NATA question paper. They are asking what time of the day is represented by the location of a sun on the diagram. Please understand here, they are putting the sun here and they are asking what time. You can actually put it in a chat box. The answer is 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 6 p.m. You have to select between that. See, here the sun is starting and sun is going to actually end here in the west. Okay, so sun is now here at this point. Then what time it is? This is a NATA question, so you have to really understand the sun path to do the correct shading, and you have to know the exact size. So the next question, it is also a NATA question in a drawing. I'm just telling this because if you don't understand the sun path diagram, you will not be able to actually understand the sun's angle. So sun's angle. One late afternoon, please understand, one late afternoon, the question is, one late afternoon, you along with your family members were enjoying a ride along a river and viewed a spectacular sunset. It is very clear, you are actually spectacular sunset. You noticed that the boat is moving from south to north and all of you are facing north. Please understand. So this is the complication which is done in the NATA question for you to understand where exactly you are standing with your shading devices. So you have to be very clear. So this is the question they will be asking. You make sure that where is the sun, and if you actually put, you have to show the sun somewhere. You will actually have a golden yellow color in the sky when you are actually riding in a boat, because you were facing north, like you'll be seeing a background of golden yellow color. So you have to be very careful when you are actually drawing this. Making drawing is not important. Making a technical drawing, understand the drawing is very, 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 very important. So you make sure that you actually, study the sun path diagram very clearly. Okay, sun revolves in a vertical axis. Yes or no? You pull. Most of you have actually given a correct answer, 9 a.m. That is correct, absolutely correct. It is 9 a.m. The answer is absolutely correct. You have done a very good job, very beautiful. All of you are so creative. Yes. Okay, after I finish the okay. Yes, the sun is revolving not in a vertical axis. It is not vertically. I told you it's a southern hemisphere. It is little tilted and actually, it's moving. So it's very important you understand that. You'll not get any direct sun. Like only in Pragatishwara temple, you will not see the shadow cast. But it's not true or false. You'll have to see and check scientifically. And you guys, after finishing your masters, you do a research on that. Whether it is actually it is casting a shadow or where is that shadow is cast. So please understand that it's very, very important. All of you actually yeah, Karthik, I will actually explain you. I will explain you again, sun position and time again. But most of people understood. Karthik, you just send me a message and I will explain you that. Sun revolves in a vertical axis, no. Then artificial lights. There are artificial lights, as I told you, take a mobile phone and put it in an angle and try to get a light, artificial light, because of the color of the light. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you'll be reading about color theory. You'll be knowing why when white color is actually, white color light is actually, sprayed into a object, the object's color changes. And if you actually put a darker color, the object color is changing. So you have to be very careful, because you have to understand your color theory also. Now try to, it's very easy, man. It's very, very easy. Brighter things, like in Kanchipuram silk, if you go and buy in your for sari, all the girls must be knowing. Whenever they actually go and buy a sari, always they actually, come out to the natural light and see whether the color is absolutely correct or not. Why? Because of the textile shop light, which is yellow, the light which is there in the sari actually gets in a different color. So when you actually go to your color theory, understand that when you come to a shadowing with colors, you try to understand that and put the exact shadow. The Costco ball here, because of the white light which has been actually, thrown onto it, it's become little white actually. The green color is not actually showing up because of the white which is actually mixed with it. You can see in that Costco ball, the tennis ball there, then you can see a brighter face on the top, and other sides are actually having a little shadow, the darkness. So you put the darkness like this. You actually experiment with one of the objects. Here in this also, if you can see, this is a shadow which is cast, and you can see this is dark because of the light which is thrown here. It is actually, it is tinting a little bit. This is actually darker now. So you please try to understand visualizing in your house, taking a small object. It's all very easy, simple NATA questions. They'll be asking this kind of a questions in NATA. Artificial lights gives direction and enhance the object where it is put. The lights can change the quality of the objects. You please understand that. I've asked my students to, yes, sir. I've asked my students to actually do some kind of a shading. This is a shading is the element which enhances the quality of the geometry. The geometry will look just like that. It will like a dabba, it will look, like if you don't do any shading, it will look like a dabba. Say for an example, if there is no light thrown onto me, I look like a dabba. I'll go ahead and see. There is a video tutorial which I have. Yes. Now I'll actually send you this video to you so that you can actually see how the shading is done through the pencil. Okay. Right now we don't have the time for that. So I've actually given you this videos. I'll post it. You can see it actually. So NATA question paper we come to. A NATA question paper will have a question based on two-dimensional solid shapes, and drawing test and aptitude test, both the ways they will be asking that question. I'll tell you, first we will actually go to the composition of solid. Sample question: depict, draw, and color a fruit basket as a two-dimensional composition with at least 3 to 4 varieties of fruits in multiple numbers. First of all, I tell you, they are talking about fruits, so fruits will be of different colors. That is one thing which you keep it in your mind. Even you do your pencil sketching also, you have to keep it in your mind that the colors have different qualities. Warm colors have different qualities, soft colors, warm colors have different qualities, soft and cool colors have different qualities. Green has a different value and red has a different value. You must really understand, like, if you go to a small, the color theory will be taught next day when you actually, sketch it with your pencil. Try to enhance the color with your pencil. A banana will look better than a small like peach or something like that. So try to understand different colors in a different way. The multiple numbers of it. So you draw this, you draw a basket. Yeah, everyone here is a solid form. The solid form is actually created out of a natural thing. So architecture or NATA wants you to understand how a geometry gets translated into nature. So you actually, get it from this. You draw this fruit basket as an exercise and try to understand. This is the basket which is drawn by one of my students. So I just wanted to, I don't want a big shading actually happening in this. So I asked her to make it very simple. Second is a NATA question. Another is about solids and shading. Okay. They are asking, arrange 4 pieces of luggage in an interesting composition. The light is falling on the composition from the left-hand side. Please note, they are saying it is actually coming from the left-hand side. Whenever you answer a NATA question, please understand one thing very clearly. You read the question very clearly, because architecture is about dialogues. As I told you earlier, it is about dialogue. So left-hand side, the composition slide is going to come. Draw the composition with pencil. So please understand, you have to actually understand the pencil. First, you draw the outline of the entire composition. After drawing, because they have said 4 pieces of luggage. So you first draw the 4 pieces of luggage in the background. Don't think about shading and all that. Then you put up a light. Imagine how you actually put up your mobile. You put up a light there. Now you actually, try to shade the darker places. Identify the darker places as A. Then you actually cast the shadows. Then you actually say that as B. Where it is going to be bright, you put it as C. Then you have 2 sides which will be having, one side will be having lesser shadow, another side will be having more shadow, more thickness. Then you actually shade, you put C, D and E also. When you do all these things, you will be able to actually do a solid composition in a proper way. Solid composition can be done only with practice. You keep on practicing. If you have any doubts regarding the artificial light and the natural light, please ping me. I'll be actually going to a thank you session. So thank you. Enjoy the day. Today's thought of the day is architect Zaha Hadid. She is called as the queen of curves. She made so beautiful building. She is called as queen of curve. Zaha Hadid is no more now. She's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful architect. She explains everything. So know about that also today. Thank you so much. I'll leave it to moderator. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rajesh sir. Thank you very much. You really fed, I know you had a issue on time, but anyway, I'm sure we have got what we wanted across to the children. Now I call upon Professor Pradeepa, who is the admin coordinator of SRMISD. Who's the SRM coordinator? She's the admin coordinator of SRM SAID. She is nearly finished her doctorate, and she should be holding her PhD in a month or so. She has been for 10 years with SRM, and she has organized all the college events. Welcome, Pradeepa ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the brief introduction. I am Pradeepa, admin coordinator. Good morning, all. Good morning, my dear students. I am Pradeepa, professor, admin coordinator. Sorry, I was in SRM for 14 years. It's a 15 years of my travel in SRM, actually. Actually, coming to talking about SRM, our school architecture curriculum is designed in such a way as par with the international standards. It was formulated as such a way that the student can choose his interested subjects as an elective. We have more number of electives in our curriculum, where the students are free to choose whatever is interested subjects. That is, the elective starts from the third year. So whatever the students who is interested in the choosing the elective, he can choose, and the number of electives is also more. And our curriculum is designed as par with the international standards. Apart from this, choosing this elective in our curriculum, you also have a freeness to choose a choice-based credit system, which includes you have a freeness to choose a subject in the interior design course also. So not only apart from the architecture subjects you are studying, you can choose a subject in interior design course also as an elective subject. Our students, after completing his degree, either UG or PG in our school, has got a very top universities. That is, for pursuing his PG and PhD, he got seats in top universities in and around the world, and also has placed in top architectural firms, and few students have started their own firm also. And our SRM, we have two major events in SRM. One is Milan. I think you, as a school students, you have heard about that. It's a mega cultural event where around 10,000 students in and around India, that is around India, they'll participate in this mega cultural event, where it is an international, that is inter-college competitions where all the cultures will be happened. That takes place in the odd semester, and the even semester we have a technical event that is full of technical, that is conferences, seminars, which takes place where is known as an Arish. It is an SRM, which is a 2 mega events which will be conducted per year. Apart from this, we have our department own cultural fest, conferences and seminars also. So we have our students association activities, where a student association activities is run purely by a president, a student president from a fourth year, and student secretary from the third year, and first year also will be the office bearers of in the students association. So students association activities will happen per week, and half day session will be allotted for them. So based on it, the students can showcase their talents, whatever you're well-versed. Apart from the sports activity will be taken place in one side, and all the cultural activities will be taken place in one side, you're sketching. So whatever the skill you can expose in the students association activities. And then we also conduct all the valedictory function, all the prize distributions will also happen during the end of the association activities. So apart from the curriculum, whatever you're studying in as a theory subjects or a design subjects, we have all the where the students can showcase your activities, your talents in this types of cultural activities in SRM. So as faculties are well trained, and they are very specialized in different areas, and they are very friendly and approachable also. So we welcome you all, and we'll take care of as such our children's. So thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeepa ma'am. Thank you for wonderful information. I'm sure the children are all excited to be joining college.
Yes, ma'am.
And just adding, so on today we have been looking at light and shadow, like Isaac Newton. You know, during the times of Isaac Newton, everybody saw the apples falling, but it was only Isaac who felt that there was some force about that, something, a secret and a mystery about that apple falling. Similarly, there are many architects who have been wondering on the mystery of the shadows and the play that the shadow does on the form, and those people are the ones who have mastered architecture. So I'm just repeating and rephrasing what Professor Raja said. Light matters, and architecture is all about the power of shadows and how it plays on a building form. So do go around, look around your buildings. Now look at it from a point of view as to how the shadow has added definition to the building and how it gave value. Every material, be it stone, be it brick, be it sand, has got its identity because light fell on it. The cloth got its identity. You know it is a cloth. You can literally feel its strength just because how the light interacted on the surface of that particular material. So just go around, today as an exercise, just meditate on the surfaces that you see around and the way God has decided to play with light on all those surfaces and all those forms. Because everything you see is because of the light that falls on it and the shadow that defines its dimension, whether it is tall, whether it's small, whether it is round, whether it is hollow, is the sphere inside the earth or above the earth. You need to meditate, and as you need to get a control on your perception of the form and the shape. So that is for the day. I think you should do that exercise. Look at all the buildings and just try to do it as an exercise. What would have been the time of the day when they took that photograph? You saw so many buildings, right? Just look at it and say, what time of the day did they take that photograph? If you could, especially, or maybe if you know the orientation, your own houses, you might even gauge it better.
Adding to that, actually, the photographs which has been taken by the students, I request all those photographers to, like put up the time, put up the time in the photograph and send it to us in the NATA group. Also,
yes,
we'll have a discussion.
Yes.
Yes.
So please send back your assignments as quickly as possible and continue to observe. And that is for the day. And look up on Zaha Hadid and her works, so that it gives you an idea of how she has actually played with form and celebrated architecture, because very soon you're going to be celebrating too. So thank you very much for this session. Raja sir, you want to say something more? You want to give them any more inputs before we can close for the day? Raja sir?
Saravana Raja sir, thank you. Saravana Raja sir, it's Saravana Raja sir.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Is there anything you want to add, sir? You're such a creator. Please, sir, add something through the light. Yes, sir. Regarding SRM.
Okay. Regarding okay. So I was doing after 1 year back. I was 1 year, not 1 year. Till December, I was working in cinema. So when I wanted to take up this academic, because I was when I passed out in 90, means in 2000, I joined as a faculty. After that, after 3 years, I left it and I went into business. So last December till November, I was working in a movie, so art direction. So when I wanted to join, because I wanted to get into like as a faculty, because I can spend or I can try knowledge transfer, and I want to. I really passionate about the teaching. So when it comes for architectural infrastructure wise, or the facilities or the freedom they give for the student life, I really admire about that SRM style of life. Yesterday, I would have posted a video about Milan, which would have seen that that Pratibha Madam was also talking about. You just revisit that video, and you'll be able to see that life of the student, because there's so much of freedom, and to make them to become more mature in their thinking. So your the window for expressing your arts, creative or your thought, everything will be addressed, and everything will be welcomed by this SRM University. And I hope you guys all will get into this. So thanks for listening to me.
Thank you, Saravana sir. Thank you.
Any doubts on this? Like any doubts on means because I told about a lot of fields. In that thing, if they want to have any doubt at anyone, you can put it up. If not now, you can make the question to the moderator. I may be able to address in the other sessions also. Like you don't need to even ask for it. You just put up the questions regarding this, like how the film industry works, how the set direction works, how this. Yeah, anything you can put it up. I can address it. Maybe I will, or I can give the answers to them, and you'll be able to get it. Sure, student. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Saravana sir. There is a question as to how do we bring texture in an object through shading. Maybe you can answer it on the WhatsApp group so that you can do it in detail. The question is, how do we bring texture in an object through shading? So I think Raja sir, you need to unmute yourself.
Yes. We will send you a video, as I have actually quoted a video. I will send you that video that will make you, it is the using the texture is a very important thing, There are other classes also will be taken by our experts and by myself, okay? We'll be talking about colors. It is not only texture alone. It is the color also plays a very important role when you actually shade, because as I told you, banana has a different color, apple has a different color. How you actually give different colors with your pencil to them, the same way the texture is also different. So how well we actually understand a smooth texture and how well we actually understand a rough texture. So we will be taking classes about this. You also please try to observe it, because when the light actually falls, you'll be able to see a smooth object gives you a very beautiful smooth texture, but at the same time a rough object maybe it actually gives a little bit of a variation in itself. You try to understand that. You can actually understand this in a very practical way. You also practice this light which I have actually given it to you. Thank you so much. As we are running out of time, we will discuss this in our the group, and you can actually ping me in the group. Kindly ping me in the group so that everyone can get benefited. Because if you actually ping me personally, then everyone will not get benefited out of the answers which I am giving. Thank you so much. Over to moderator, ma'am.
Thank you, Raja sir. So we have again finished this wonderful, awesome, bright, energetic session for the morning on the second day. We shall meet again at 6 o'clock in the evening sharp. We will bring another special chief guest to address you for today evening. Thank you. Meet you at 6 o'clock sharp. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
I request the host to